I love you, Farmville. What is with people taking our seats lately?
I don't know. Maybe we should just sit somewhere else.
Yeah, Miley Cyrus, you ride that wrecking ball. We have to take care of this. Go talk to him, Matt.
Come on, man. You know I'm non-confrontational.
I'm a coward too. Wait a second. I've got an idea. Let me take care of this. You wait here.
Okay.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Welcome back to another episode where we actually talk about good movies that we've seen this year. If you've seen our last year in review, you know that we come to the table with completely different lists. We tell the list to you people, we tell the list to each other, and then we fight about it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, would you like to start us off?
Yeah, sure. Let's go to the first category.
Action.
So, my favorite action movie of the year was Iron Man 3. Iron Man 3, to me, was one of the more fun and inventive action movies I've seen in the last couple of years. Just because the movie asks the question, what would Tony Stark do without his armor? How would Tony Stark overcome challenges without his armor? And I really like how he kind of, MacGyvers his way through these situations while he's waiting for his suit to charge up. And,
that was pretty cool.
I enjoyed all the little gadgets he made, just, going to Home Depot or whatever and grabbing all of the stuff. It was a very funny movie. I liked all the quippy stuff with him and the kid and him and Rhodes. I thought it was a really fun movie, and I enjoy robots, and there were a lot of robots at the end, so it was. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good.
I think the only thing better than a robot fight is a huge robo fight. That's what I'm going with. Pacific Rim.
Nice.
Now, I think Pacific Rim was probably the best action movie this year because it was really nothing but action. It was an action movie, and then other stuff happened, and then there's action. It's giant robots fighting giant monsters for an hour and a half.
Yeah, it's awesome.
it was really great, and man, I loved it. I really did. I really love it wasn't just the action though. It was like it had really beautiful visuals.
It did.
It's just like lots of neon colors. It was just vibrant as hell.
Yeah, all the design and effects was really well done. Yeah.
Adaptation. So this is probably going to be our biggest fight because for adaptation, there's been so many, but I picked the Wolverine. What'd you pick?
Dude, same.
Same.
I also picked the Wolverine.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with the fact that the Wolverine was just an awesome movie.
Yeah.
That was a very good adaptation.
Yeah.
I'm not the comic book guy. You are the comic book guy. How close was it?
Well, the whole storyline from the Wolverine is like straight out of the comics.
Mm-hmm.
Like every single sort of superhero movie has sort of its influences from comics.
Mm-hmm.
But with the Wolverine, it seriously is a straight adaptation of a specific storyline from Wolverine's solo comics where he goes to Japan and gets his healing factor taken away. I really enjoyed the movie. I thought it was a lot of fun. I love Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Even in the bad X-Men movies, I love Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. And all the action stuff was just really great. I really thought it was great.
And I think one thing that sets the Wolverine apart from all other adaptations is that not only is it a comic book adaptation, but it's also kind of a samurai adaptation.
It's true, yeah.
It's a comic book adaptation in a genre you don't usually see.
Yeah.
So there's just it's blending two tastes that taste good together.
It's really true. I liked all the sort of the Japanese aesthetic of the movie, and seeing Wolverine just completely out of his element is I really enjoyed that aspect of the movie.
Horror.
Well, here's another one we're going to fight about.
Yeah.
Because I picked The Conjuring.
I totally picked The Conjuring.
Man, okay, all right. Well, what did you like about The Conjuring?
What I liked about The Conjuring is that it was the only horror movie that came out this year.
There was like Insidious 2 and something else, and
so it was the only horror movie that came out this year.
That's a good point.
Well, see, what The Conjuring did that the Evil Dead remake didn't do, and Carrie didn't do,
right,
is that it had a very good story that happened to be scary, which is a good horror movie. Like Exorcist, Poltergeist, Exorcist, Exorcist, maybe not, but Poltergeist was
Yeah.
like, this is a good story, also the scary stuff.
It's
in
also
it.
scary. Yeah, exactly.
But I really like the actors in The Conjuring.
Yes.
And it's funny you bring up Insidious because it's just copy paste names from Insidious, put them over in The Conjuring.
It's true. It's the same actors. Yeah, The Conjuring was. I mean, we saw a few horror movies together this year, and I feel like The Conjuring was the only one that actually creeped me out. And
Yeah.
when I see a horror movie, there's a difference between jump scares and
Yeah.
being creeped out. And The Conjuring was very creepy. Just lots of little touches and using lots of sound and very simple practical effects
Exactly.
to do lots of different scary stuff. I thought it was a really well done horror movie.
Yeah, they were really good at avoiding unnecessary gore.
Yes.
They didn't resort to jump scares.
Yeah, hardly any jump scares actually.
So
yeah.
I mean, it was all just atmosphere, and
Exactly.
that's a scary movie.
Agreed.
Artsy.
Well, for my artsy movie,
Yeah.
I picked Gravity.
Piece of shit. We did not collaborate on this at all.
Collaborate at all.
I picked Gravity.
Okay.
Do you know why we picked Gravity?
Because it's a really good movie.
It's a really good movie, and it's probably like the only real artsy movie that came out.
I can't think of another movie this year that was as like sort of visceral and evocative as Gravity was.
So why did you pick Gravity?
Okay, so I picked Gravity because I waited a long time to see Gravity. The trailers didn't do a whole lot for me.
Yeah.
But then it came out and people kept saying Gravity's awesome. You got to go see Gravity if you like space stuff at all, or if you enjoy movies. Go see Gravity.
Would you say that you gravitated towards it?
I gravitated towards it. I was
Oh.
slowly drawn into its gravitational pull, and then I started orbiting it for a while before I crashed into
Oh,
it.
gotcha. Yeah.
Gravity is like it's like a Stanley Kubrick movie almost. Like it's very 2001 Space Odyssey. Visually, it was one of the coolest movies I think I've ever seen. All the camera work was very, very well done. Lots of long shots without cuts. And just the attention to detail, everything in it is researched to death to the point where it's like, this is realistic, this is how it would happen. Performances are great from George Clooney and
all
Sandra
two of
Bullock.
them?
Yeah, all two of them. And just, it was I left the movie feeling like I had a lot to think about. And that's a sign of a really good movie, so.
And, you know, what is a good artsy movie without tons and tons of symbolism?
Oh, tons of symbolism.
So many freaking symbolism.
Yeah.
But I mean, I really think, you know, what elevates it above like just a drama or a sci-fi movie is like, if you really look at it though, I mean, there's a lot of like subtle artistic things, like only having two actors, or you know, really only having one actor, one main
It's
character
true, yeah.
of an entire movie that you see,
Yeah.
and you know, having it, you know, the long shots and the symbolism, tons of symbolism, and you know, it just like really just letting the visuals speak for themselves.
Yeah.
So to me, that's pretty artsy, and I think that's why it really qualifies.
Yeah, and the fact that Sandra Bullock's character, over the course of 2 hours, completely changes.
Oh yeah,
it's a just beautiful character arc for her, and like I think the best movies are the ones that you can boil down to a really simple concept. And Gravity is like, okay, if you're talking about the movie as a whole, okay, two people up in orbit, they get stuck in space, blah blah blah. But at its core, Gravity is a character needing to move on, and that's what the whole movie is about, and it's really really well done.
Sci-fi / concept.
Okay, for my sci-fi / concept, we're gonna get an old friend.
Oh.
Pacific Rim.
Oh, hey, I remember him.
Yeah, so I'm not going to talk a ton about it because you already talked
true.
a little bit about it. But the reason why Pacific Rim is on sci-fi is because I wanted Iron Man 3 to be an action, but also because it is a really good science fiction movie.
Sure.
It is a what if story. What if there were giant monsters that came out of the ocean, and then what if humanity's completely reasonable retaliatory technique was to build giant billion-dollar robots to punch them.
Like you do.
Like you said, Pacific Rim was a ton of fun. Probably the most fun I've had at the movie theater this year.
Sure. So I picked Star Trek Into Darkness. Now, what I really liked about Star Trek Into Darkness is that it retreads kind of old stuff, which most people don't like, but I love references. I love callbacks to the original stuff. You know, I love that they threw in a troll for no reason.
Yeah.
You know, I love that they have Khan as the main bad guy.
Yeah.
I love that they reversed the Kirk Spock monologue, Kirk being the one that dies, Spock being the one that screams Khan for no reason. Because Khan didn't do anything.
I wasn't responsible for it.
I'm not saying that there's not problems, but the problems were so minute, I really didn't care.
Yeah.
And I love the world that they make. You
Yeah.
know? I love the idea of the ship like crashing in space, so they have to run on the walls and,
Yeah.
and jump hallways and blast each other
Yeah.
through the vacuum of space. Like that was really cool to me, and it was a fun sci-fi adventure,
It was a very good sci-fi adventure.
which we don't have enough of.
It's true.
We need more of that.
Yeah, see, I really enjoyed Into Darkness. I do have issues with I really wish they would just do something new with this new Star Trek
That's
universe. I was kind of bummed that they had Khan be the villain, although I loved Benedict Cumberbatch as Khan.
True.
I just love him. But yeah, I really hope in the next movie they set up the crew, they set up like how the crew, this new universe. I think it's time for them to go on the 5-year mission. I think I think it's time for them to get even more adventure-y.
Most disappointing.
Okay, so here's where we talk about the movies that we hoped were good, but were not as good as we wanted them to be.
Yup.
My pick was Man of Steel, the new Zack Snyder Superman movie. Now, Man of Steel, I should preface this by saying that I don't think Man of Steel is a bad movie.
Okay.
When I saw it in the theater, I enjoyed it. I thought it was decent.
I have to disagree with you. I thought it was a terrible movie.
Okay.
Not that it was something I didn't like, but it was bad in like if you look at every film school,
Yeah.
like every school of thought,
Yeah.
it was bad at.
It's true. It's true.
I mean, if you just follow the ABCs of directing,
Yeah.
he did everything wrong.
I think that's the problem with Man of Steel is that it was pointing in all of the wrong directions, and
Yeah.
they just went so far in every wrong direction. I just felt like there was so much potential going into it with the cast, with the director. They had a great cinematographer on board. Christopher Nolan helped producing stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it was just another Superman movie that didn't live up to the Superman mythos.
It wasn't very super.
It was not very super. It was decidedly unsuper. Well, Darren, that is my most disappointing. What were you disappointed with this year?
I was super disappointed with The Lone Ranger. So, as much as I would harp on Man of Steel, it wasn't as so crushingly bleak as The Lone Ranger. I mean, there's a difference between seeing a movie and not liking it, and seeing a movie and just like, I don't know what happiness is like anymore. And
Was this year's The Road?
that was, yeah, exactly. It was the happy Disney movie that made you feel bad about the genocide of the Native American. Oh yeah, here's also Lone Ranger. I mean, like, just everything about that movie was bad. They didn't handle the Lone Ranger correctly.
Yeah.
They didn't handle Tonto correctly, because, I mean, he's not a noble warrior. He's a crazy man.
Yeah.
They literally say, he is a crazy man. Don't listen to him.
Right.
And, hey, Lone Ranger, you're bad at everything you do and nobody cares about you. Well, until the last 10 minutes, and then you're cool. I mean, like, that is not how you do an origin story, especially with the Lone Ranger.
Yeah.
Campy, fun action.
Right.
You know what? I would have rather have seen Wild Wild West.
Oh.
And just every time he says, I'm Wild West, just say, I'm the Lone Ranger. I would, Will Smith playing the Lone Ranger and a Wild Wild West script, I would have preferred to what Disney gave us.
Okay, all right.
Biggest surprise.
So, now is when we talk about movies we thought were not going to be as good.
Yeah.
And then they were.
Woo.
My biggest surprise was This Is the End.
Mm-hmm.
So, we went into This Is the End, and we were like, this will probably be funny. There's a lot of good people in this. It's probably going to be, one of those kind of comedy movies that you see in the theater. You laugh a couple times and you go home. This Is the End. I laughed so hard I cried a few times in the movie, and I've watched it a few times since then, and it keeps getting better. I really feel like This Is the End is going to be sort of on the same tier as like Shaun of the Dead and stuff, where it's just like comedy, like recent comedies that just stand up and are going to continue to be funny for a long time.
My biggest surprise was Pain and Gain.
Oh.
Now, here you have Mark Wahlberg and Dwayne The Rock Johnson as knucklehead bodybuilders committing crimes, directed by Michael Bay, in Miami, Florida, in the 80s or 90s.
Yeah.
It's like everything about that sounds stupid, but it was just so much fun.
Yeah.
It was almost like watching and updated the Three Stooges.
Right.
But they murdered people. But they murdered people in like Three Stooges kind of way.
Right.
So I mean, just everything about it was funny. It was the best dark comedy I've seen in a long time. And from Michael Bay, Jesus, I did
Yeah.
not see that coming.
Right. Well,
I mean,
fair enough, man.
yeah.
Maybe Michael Bay has found his calling in
Yeah.
dark comedy.
Yeah, maybe he's got some Bad Boys 2 left in him.
Maybe he does.
Movie I liked that nobody else did. So the movie that I liked that I don't think anybody else really did is G.I. Joe Retaliation. Now the first G.I. Joe was like really, campy and kind of it's bad. I mean,
Yeah.
it's bad. It's a bad movie. It's fun. It's fun to make fun of. But I really did like the G.I. Joe Retaliation.
Right.
I mean, like it's still got the camp, but it just has so much more heart
Right.
to it, and it's like a bigger surprise. Like it really did not follow the standard formula of bad guy up to plot, stop bad guy.
Right.
Because like he wins. I mean, Cobra Commander wins in the end.
Right.
He doesn't win in the long run,
Yeah.
but he does take out all of Europe.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't see that coming, did you? And the fact that they just kill off Channing Tatum, I always love seeing Channing Tatum die.
It's true.
I can't help it. He's my favorite punching bag. It's that pretty little face of his. So I like that they killed off Channing Tatum, pretty early in the movie. It's like, well, there's a twist. They brought in Bruce Willis. That was another twist.
Yeah.
And you really do get two movies with it. You get the covert military ops thing on the one side,
Yeah.
and then you get like this weird like ninja plot with Snake Eyes. Like Snake Eyes is like he's off doing his own thing.
Right.
He's fighting ninjas on the mountainside. He's abducting people to take to like a temple.
Yeah.
To like getting executed with like katanas. I mean, it's magical.
I would like to point out that 2 of the movies on your list star Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
How
do you feel about that?
I might be a Dwayne fan.
I'm definitely a Dwayne fan.
Yeah.
I enjoy him.
I find Dwayne to be he's a really fun guy.
Really likable.
He's a very likable, very charismatic guy.
Yeah.
And he's okay with making fun of himself. So
That's
I
true.
mean that's really cool.
That's true. The movie I liked that nobody else did was Escape Plan, the recent Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone escaping from prison movie. I love that Arnold is doing movies again.
Yes.
I love that Stallone is sort of just like, you know what I'm just going to do until I die? Make 80s action movies. Like, I'm just going to keep doing that if that's okay with everybody else. I love the kind of humor in it. I just love the simple concept. Stallone's in the most unbreakable prison ever. There were some fun twists in it, like when Stallone is convinced that he's underground and he goes up and he's like, "Oh, we're on a boat. Like
Yeah.
we're actually in the middle of the ocean." Like
So
that was really cool.
it's the escape attempt and then the re-escape
And then the
attempt.
re-escape attempt because he gets out and he's like, "I can't go anywhere I'm in the middle of the ocean." But like the Arnold and Stallone had a really fun dynamic. You got to see Arnold Schwarzenegger speak German, which was kind of cool. Never
Yes,
seen that
that was
before.
nice.
His native language, and just it was actually a very well done action movie. All the physical fights were very fun.
Yeah.
Lots of good shootouts. Just a fun popcorn flick, but I enjoyed it.
Yep. So from all of us here at Movie Blender, we'd like to wish you a Merry Christmas.
And a happy holiday. Hey, how did you get that guy to leave the theater?
Oh, I set the theater on fire.
I think I would have noticed that sooner.
Yeah.
We should leave.
Tell me like when I'm at my maximum abuse shooters.
Okay.
I think we're good.
Yeah.
All right.
It's guaranteed to leave you
Start slow.
satisfied. Don't move, don't break and run. You never used to be
Oh, yeah.
this fun.